Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Anthony Williams. I'm the Director of Business Development and Innovation here at Rentley. Oh, I'm hearing that no one can hear me. I'm getting that nobody can hear me. Jackie, can you hear me?
Hey Anthony, I'm able to hear you.
Okay. Let's do this. Our participants, can you hear me? I want to make sure everyone can hear me. Addie, can you let me know of the response there? Fantastic. Thank
Yeah,
you. I
I
got
see
that.
this
Thank
email.
you, Ashley. Sorry about that. We did have some technical difficulties to get started. So, and again, I'll kind of reintroduce myself. I am Anthony Williams. I'm our Director of Business Development and Innovation here at Rentley. I've been part of the team for a year and a half and grateful for all of you joining today. I will let my co-host introduce himself here as well.
Hello everybody, good morning and good afternoon. My name is Aditya. I've been with Rentley for about 3 years now. I work as a product manager, focusing on the renter experience and specifically on security right now to safeguard all of your properties. Welcome to our webinar.
Thanks, Addie. For those of you who don't know who or what Rentley is, we serve many industries of real estate, providing a multitude of services pertaining to the renter journey for your on-market homes, as well as the resident's journey. Our mission is to provide our property managers and agents with best-in-class automation tools for leasing success. As previously mentioned, today is part one of our three-part Rentley security webinar series called Know Your Prospective Renters. We will host two more in the coming months after this one as we dive deep into security solutions in the industry. Today, we want to ensure that we, along with you, are taking the right steps to be prepared and align your teams for rental fraud. We want to highlight ways to identify the potential fraudsters very early on in your leasing process. And we understand there's significant financial implications from these scenarios. We are aiming to provide you with the best solutions to combat these challenges. We will dive into real world examples and provide key tips for bringing in those higher quality leads. Rental fraud and scams harm both renters and real estate operators. Over 5.2 million renters have encountered fraudulent activity or listing scams, while 1 in 3 renters have lost over $1,000, and that amount has risen to over $1,400 in 2023. Last summer, a rental platform experienced a 50% increase in reports of suspicious listings between April to May, June to July 2023, signaling that summer may be particularly perilous time for renters. We're coming up again on summer, and it's important that you're prepared. So what about trespassers? Trespassers illegally access vacant rental properties through a variety of aggressive tactics, including breaking windows, stealing keys from lockboxes, or tampering with locks. Trespassers in vacant properties has become a major problem across the US. Dealing with these trespassers can involve navigating a maze of legal complexities such and laws regarding property rights, eviction procedures, and adverse possession that vary widely depending on the jurisdiction. This poses significant challenges for reclaiming possession of properties occupied by trespassers. In some instances, trespassers may not be aware that they're in the home illegally, and some scammers have gotten sophisticated enough to gain access to a home and then offer it to rent for fraudulent lease agreements and documentation. We take important steps toward helping prospective residents avoid rental scams. Trespassers can also deter legitimate renters from leasing homes because of security concerns or legal uncertainties. In many reported instances, they bring other crime beyond trespassing into neighborhoods, such as illegally possessed guns, illicit drugs, or stolen property. Some state lawmakers have taken action recently to make it easier for owners and operators and authorities to deal with squatters, specifically in Florida, Atlanta, to name a few states and cities, changing laws to make this a criminal matter versus civil matter. Which leads me to my next question. How are your teams prepared to handle these situations? We saw earlier in the poll the different types of fraud you're experiencing. So let's get into the types of rental fraud impacting your communities, like fake listings, where we see the listings are being duplicated onto other social media sites like Craigslist or Facebook, or completely misleading advertisements. We see theft and vandalism, where trespassers are intently targeting homes to damage property and even steal appliances. Cyber criminals are getting into the act too, having entered the space to exploit confidential information to gain access to homes. I'm sure many of you have also seen false rental applications, from fake pay stubs to fake IDs. So after a short poll here, and Addie will read for me, let's look into the statistics of these types of rental fraud. We'll give you a few minutes to answer.
All right. So we have a poll coming up in the chat. So what is the most frequent type of rental fraud you've been experiencing in your properties? Right? Is it fake landlords or fake listings, squatters, vandalism, or theft? Is it social engineering, fake accounts, scammers, asking renters to create an account and being a fake landlord? Or is it false rental applications, or is it none? You're not experiencing any scams, but you want to be wary of all of these scams in the future. We'll give you all a couple of minutes to quickly. All right, so we've been getting a few results already. So most of you all, from what I see here, is you're experiencing false rental applications, fake landlords and fake listings, and squatters, vandalism, or theft. So these three seem to be the biggest problems and challenges you'll have been facing. So we at Rently have been working on addressing all of these challenges. So Anthony will be talking to you more in the upcoming slides. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Addie. And to no surprise, I think we were expecting those to be the top three. So we're looking forward to kind of diving into the statistics around most of these. We do see that it's easier than ever for scammers to commit rental fraud. Real estate investors, property managers must change the way that they approach fraud. Adopting new, smart, and savvy practices to protect themselves is essential. We see here that there's been a 67% increase in fraud and identity theft, over 11 million reported fraudulent applications since 2021, and we know that that's growing. And 85% of property managers feel that prospective renters are becoming more comfortable with committing the application fraud just to get in the house and buy a few months in there. And we see here this quote from RealPage: training employees to identify real fraud is not getting it done. Almost half of the respondents said that their site staff are not financially motivated to prevent it. It always appears that these bad actors are a step ahead of the industry, and it's time to clamp down. It's hard to train certain positions, especially those that are just reviewing applications, to learn how document formatting with just the naked eye is going to detect anything, and it's really hard to incentivize. So what can be done? Let's rely on new technology to combat rental fraud. And ways to focus on better ways to we're here to focus on better ways to mitigate risks. The solution most companies, like those of you on this webinar today, have started to focus on better ways to mitigate risks. Rental fraud has become increasingly sophisticated, and customers need new and better tools to address the threat across their portfolios. It's important now to identify potential fraudsters earlier in the leasing process, starting at the prospect's journey before they even tour a home. Ways that we could search and implement we're going to look at ways to search and implement various security tools along the way in this journey. And I will hand it over to Addie here.
Awesome. So as Anthony mentioned in the previous slide, so we've been working on initiatives to help our clients mitigate risks at their rental properties. So it starts right from our ILS. So we empower about like 10 million prospective renters to view our clients' available rental properties. So recently we released a new feature called Verified Renter, which is a secure lead verification service. So since we launched it, clients have been reporting fraud cases significantly declining, while also increasing their operational efficiency. So this new lead verification service gives our clients the peace of mind of knowing that only trustworthy and serious renters who meet their qualification criteria are interacting with their properties. So these are tools that can be seamlessly integrated into the existing leasing process. Thus, it'll be easier for your leasing staff to adopt, and it's going to be more efficient for your applicants as well. So through customizable settings, so verified renters are able to take certain actions, so like self-showing a property or even meeting with an agent once they get verified. So additionally, it can also be used to ensure that only verified renters are completing rental applications and applying for homes. So this reduces the likelihood of fraud and time spent following up with unqualified leads, further expediting leasing efforts. So during the verified renter process, a prospect is actually required to create an account and then pass through our stringent ID verification. Um, uh, so we verify the prospect's ID and selfie. And then in addition to that, we ask them to respond to a certain number of pre-screening questions and also provide their social security to generate their credit score. So we only do a soft credit pull. And so together with all of these measures, we are able to prevent bad actors, scammers from entering into the platform. So it also confirms the person's identity. So it's going to help you all with protecting properties from risky applicants and allowing all clients to focus on qualified leads that only meet your minimum rental criteria. So Rently does not prevent anyone from touring a property after passing the verification process. So even if they're not eligible, to potentially lease out your homes, we do allow them to still go ahead and tour your properties. So our lead verification service here simply lets all property managers know the residents' core risk factors only. All right. So we also help with identifying leads that only match with your rental criteria. So Rently verifies prospective renters very early in the leasing process, starting at the property that they're looking for. So this new service not only helps, so it helps a lot with lead quality. So since the lead undergoes ID verification, they answer a set of pre-screening questions, all decided by you, and meet your rental criteria requirements. So this will also ensure that only serious and qualified leads are matching with your properties and touring with your properties. So how will that help your leasing agents? So it's going to help streamline your workflows. So for imagine a prospect finishes a tour, lead follow-up becomes really easy. So agents are able to identify the right and serious leads to follow up with after the tour. So if a renter gets verified and goes through all of the checks, they are more likely to be approached by leasing agents. So in addition to that, agents can also focus on processing applications from verified leads likely to be eligible to lease your homes. So we also have, so through this verification process, it also helps us with security as well. Through our entire process, we do verify they are who they say they are. We, in addition to our ID verification, we also ask them IDMA questions through which that only the prospect will know the answer. So it's going to be really personal questions about their rental history, about their personal life that only they might know. So in addition to that, so only the applicant can answer these questions based on the rental and personal history. So this also enhances the renter experience, specifically the time and cost. So they're going to be saving a lot of time only touring properties that they are going to be matching with. So they're not going to be wasting their time and money on properties that they might not even be eligible for. So it also increases their confidence when they're applying to a property, potentially to lease out the home, considering that they have a really high chance of approval. All right. So what value has it been delivering to our clients? So it generates like better quality leads who are more active. So these leads tend to actually be viewing 30% more available properties online. So more than an average prospect, they are likely to tour 1 to 2 more homes, considering their more serious leads. And the tour completion rates also increases by 10%. So what this means is that imagine I've gone ahead, like I've verified myself and scheduled my tour. Verified leads are 10% likely to actually even appear for their tour than a lead that's not verified. And in addition to that, so scheduling tours becomes 2 hours faster. I'm likely to schedule my tour immediately and also tour the property 12 hours sooner. So what this might potentially mean is that me being verified, I'm likely to tour your properties 12 hours before than another lead, right? So potentially I could lease out your home 1 day before, which would also help with reducing vacancy time for your properties. So we also have higher quality leads signed leases. So we've been observing clients in Phoenix report that they've been meeting their leasing goals pretty quickly, so 50% faster than before, and thus reducing the average time on market. So it is going to be helping clients with increasing leasing velocity, higher lease approval rates, and also approaching the higher quality leads to potentially sign a lease. Anthony, can you move on to the next one?
Yep.
Awesome. So it also increases security in reducing scams. Post deployment, like we went live sometime this year. So we've been seeing a 35% reduction in trespasser activity. So we do understand that in the past year, a lot of trespasser squatter incidents have been increasing. But through this new verification process, we know that we are able to divert away renters who are, potentially not going to be eligible to lease out your homes. So that's the kind of renters that scammers eventually target, and these potential renters end up becoming squatters, right? So the verified renter process helps in controlling trespasser activity, and we've seen that 35% reduction. It's also going to be helping us leasing staff with savings on like streamlined workflows. So they're going to be spending 50% less time choosing unqualified leads, and they're also going to be processing applications as well for all qualified leads prior to unqualified leads. So, for example, if there are 10 leads and there are 3 leads that have gone ahead and verified themselves, the 3 leads are more likely to get their applications processed first, so that the home can be leased out a lot sooner than it previously was. Awesome. So, what benefits do the renters get for getting verified? So once they get verified, they go through all of these checks. So they get matched with properties that they qualify for, and they're going to be receiving 30 days of curated listings. So these listings are going to be listings that they might potentially be able to lease out in the future. So they're going to be matching with their particular so their verification with your rental criteria. So based on that matching, they're going to be receiving 30 days of curated listings. So an additional benefits that they'll be receiving is unlimited property tours. They can easily schedule self-guided tours quickly, whether be it on the same day or during regular or after business hours. So they'll also be paying lesser application fees. They're going to be applying to homes that they know that they may potentially be able to lease out. So they're going to be applying to such homes. So they're going to be saving a lot of money applying to properties that they qualify for, and they can potentially get approved faster as well. So matched applicants are typically viewed first by property managers. Like I said previously, if a renter is verified, they're more likely, an agent is more likely to process their application first. So this is going to help the renters find a property sooner rather than later. And moving on, so we've also at Rentley, we've also been working on certain security features over the past year, considering the increase in the number of rental fraud and scams that's been happening. So I'm going to be talking about some security features that we have implemented recently. So during every self-guided tour, a prospect is actually required to share their location, verify if they're actually located at the property before we even allow them to, before we even share a code to enter the property. So we identified that like there are some potential scammers who live in another city or maybe even another a country. So they live in another country. They're able to spoof their location. They probably are using VPN to spoof their location and still able to share codes with prospective renters, right? So to combat this, so we not only verify the location of the prospects, but once we identify if a VPN is detected, so we will ask the prospect to switch off their VPN so that we can accurately track their location before we allow entry into the property. Um, so this also helps, identify fake listings, right? So there are a lot of fake listings posted online. So scammers generally copy these listings and post it in Facebook, Craigslist, and they post as fake landlords, right? So to prevent this, we've also implemented another feature. This is similar to how Airbnb works, um, where a prospect is actually required to go through that stringent ID verification process and verify themselves prior to seeing the address of the home. So they're not able to see the address of the home until they successfully schedule their tour. So once we provide the home address, only then they'll be able to see the address and go to the property. So these new security features help ensure that only legitimate prospects have access to your properties, providing a greater peace of mind as well. So there are some other security features specifically. I know some of y'all are not experiencing social engineering scams, but like we've been implementing certain security aspects to social engineering as well. So we allow our clients to actually come up with certain pre-screening questions, such as, oh, did you find this property on Facebook and Craigslist? So you can ask your renters where they found the property. Are they talking to anyone claiming to be the landlord, or is anyone asking you to wire any money? So you can ask all of these questions to the prospect during the tour scheduling process. And once we identify that they're at risk of getting scammed, so what happens next is, so we have implemented three different tools. One is called a property manager verification, where once we identify they're at risk of getting scammed, they just have to enter the phone number of the person that they're talking to. Of course, the phone number that they're talking to is not going to exist in our system, and we will let the prospect know that they are at risk of getting scammed, and we will not allow them to go ahead and schedule their tour. So we will share your phone number for them to contact you and then schedule the tour. So there's another feature called Scam Awareness Quiz for scam prevention education. So this is also a quiz that you can check. You can question your renters, give them multiple options. Hey, what do you do when someone asks you to wire any money? And you can give them four options. Wire them the money prior to the tour, or wait and do not wire any money. So you can ask them different questions and have them answer it. So once they answer the questions, you will know if your renter is actually at risk of getting scammed or not. So you can decide if they go ahead and tour your properties after that or not. In addition to that, so we can also send these requests as a self-showing request to you. So what that means is that once we identify that a renter is at risk of getting scammed, their showing will come as a request to you. So you'll be able to see all their details, all the details of the lead, and approve or deny the request based on your conversation with the lead. So you can probably reach out to the lead, talk to them, educate to them about like you being the you being the manager, property manager, not the other person, and decide whether you want them to enter into your properties or not. All right. So with respect to knowing your renters, communication is key as well. So we have a completely new leads dashboard. So you can view all your past communications with the lead. So any agents that have been communicating with the lead, all the all the statuses will be displayed in the communication history log. So we also have lead status reporting. So it's to make sure that you know what stage each of your leads are in, and so to avoid any guesswork. And you can also reach out to your leads based on their status, right? If they just scheduled their tour, you can configure an SMS, welcoming them into your properties, or you can also reach out to them after the tour as well. So there are multiple places where you can reach out to them. So these are also some new features that we've been introducing. Over to you, Anthony.
Thanks, Addy. So after everything that Addy's talked about, we'll dive into some real world examples that some of our clients are actually experiencing that are using this technology as well. How exactly can you be vigilant and prevent scams? One of our clients that manages over 50,000 homes nationwide shares that the ultimate goal is to mitigate costs. In order to do so, one should leverage technology to know if something needs attention at a property in real time. What's great is that our partners and clients that utilize Rently Smart Home have an overview of every home where they can monitor sensor alerts, open doors, hub statuses, and more without needing to actually be at the property. Additionally, this client was one of the first to use Rently's Verified Renter lead verification service. They say that the leads are better quality and convert at a much higher rate. Having a robust application verification process is also a necessity to prevent scams. Moreover, another client of ours that manages in the mid-tier market encourages real estate operators to have a dedicated security team to visit vacant homes, or at least have the property manager do regular visits and property walks. In addition, they also recommend that collaborating with local jurisdictions, making friends with vigilant neighbors is also a big help. They keep an eye out for any suspicious activity and communicate it directly to you. Although preventative measures are helpful, should you experience a squatter or scam, here are a few insights some panelists actually discussed at one of our security symposiums a few months ago. A client shared that when encountering an unlawful occupant in one of the homes, it's important to firmly state that they are a trespasser, not a squatter. Reason being, a squatter gets more legal rights and has process to stay at the home as long as possible. Removing squatters is a civil case with less legal recourse. However, removing trespassers is a criminal case that law enforcement is more likely to help resolve. Our client shared their success with this tip and notes the importance of rebranding the usage of the word squatter to trespasser. So try to remember using trespasser. Secondly, clients reiterate that speed is everything. The sooner you show up to a property, the sooner you can prevent anyone from getting settled. Lastly, document any viable evidence of occupancy, then reach out to your law enforcement to help figure out correct next steps in getting your property vacated. We do have some blog links as well in here that you can read that will dive into what I was talking about here. Rently takes our commitment to prevent rental fraud very seriously. In fact, we invest more than $1 million every year on engineering solutions to help solve this issue. Since early 2023, Rently clients have experienced a 27% reduction in reported scams. We honor our duty to protect renters by securing their data, verifying all listings using Rently, and proactively providing scam awareness education. We protect landlords and their properties by taking multi-layered approaches to verifying renter identities, offering customizable security options to detect and prevent scams, and providing comprehensive tenant screening services. Property owners and managers can also deploy Rently's smart home offering with smart locks, motion sensors, window sensors, video doorbells, and common area access panels for added protection. So how do you keep up with the sophistication of fraudsters today? We do that by relying on the most advanced fraud protection technology stack in the industry. Proprietary Rently technology, coupled with key partnerships with numerous trust and safety vendors like TransUnion and others, make our multi-layered fraud protection efforts, one of the strongest available. Our approach applies to various levels of security for every prospective renter visiting your property, tailored your way to meet your specific detection needs. As we talk about it here, we have our advanced security tools, scam protection tools, fake listing monitoring, and that instant verification that Addy was talking about. So as a reminder, be sure to check out Rently's second security webinar, How to Power the Most Secure Self-Guided Tours. Self-guided tours are a requirement in today's busy rental housing market. 86% of prospective renters want to tour properties before signing a lease. 63% state that they would take a self-guided tour so that they can view an apartment or home at their own pace, and 42% of prospective renters prefer to view properties outside regular business hours, with Saturday and Sunday being some of the busiest days for self-guided tours. However, with rental fraud on the rise, how do you protect the self-guided touring experience? In this next session, you'll learn how to effectively secure the self-guided touring experience and help prospective renters identify fake landlord scams. And after that, we will have our third part, which is deterring property squatters and vandalisms. So thousands of properties across America are being invaded by squatters and trespassers. We'll refer to them as trespassers for now. These fraudsters move in and live rent-free, often causing major damage, or in worst cases, injury, death to property owners, and there's really no expedient. Easy legal ways for property owners or the police to remove them. One occurrence could end up costing property owners anywhere between $5,000 to $50,000, depending on the extent of damage and the length of stay of these trespassers. In that webinar, we'll cover how many of Rently clients are relying on available prop tech tools and smart home devices to help prevent trespassers, deter break-ins, and vacant property vandalism. We really appreciate your time. If any of you attendees do have questions, feel free to put them into the chat and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. Thanks for attending.